This episode of the MLB Guardcast is sponsored by Sadnap Studios. Are you in need of assistance when it comes to digital arts, logo creation, website design, brand building, or designing merch? Then look no further than Sadnap Studios. The team at Sadnap Studios wants to help and make your dreams into reality. Everything is original and organically created, nothing AI. You can follow them and check out some of their incredible work on Instagram at sadnap_studios_art drop. Thanks again to the folks at Sadnap Studios. Go Guards.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for another episode of the MLB Guardcast. I am Mike Vorhies. With me, as always, the dominant closer of the two of us, Bryan Shaw. Bryan, the Guardians are. Can we exhale now? Can we everybody just take a nice deep breath? We told you.
We did tell you. I have a lot of I told you so's coming.
Unbelievable. The Guardians now 14-10, tied for second place. As of today, our recording, they'll take on the Red Sox tomorrow night, live from Progressive Field. I am excited for that matchup. The Boston is a team that I think people should look into. I think Boston's going to be a really good team this year. Not to say that the Yankees aren't, but we did take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. I know people will say, well, it's only April. Talk to me. Talk to me in the fall when it matters.
Well, you can't bury this team, but then when they win a good series, also say it's only April. Like, you can't do both.
No, you can't. You can't do both. Guardians, though they had a share of first place, they were tied with Texas going into last night's game looking for the sweep, and unfortunately we fell short, but that's okay. I didn't think we would sweep the Yankees. I'm happy we took 2 of 3.
I guess they haven't at home since like the 70s. That's what they were saying on the broadcast. So
yeah, well, we've got a fun game to play. I'm gonna quiz my co-host Bryan Shaw and see if he is smarter than a Guardian. I know Bryan has some stats. Before we get into this game, what we're going to do is I'm going to say some stats, and Bryan is going to tell me. He's hydrating up, which is smart. We're going to go through some stats, and you're going to tell me who the leader is, and we're going to see how many of these you can get right.
Who the leader is. Okay,
I think you're going to be this is Guardian stats only. This is not Major League Baseball. This is just the Guardians. Bryan, are you ready?
I'm ready.
This is softball.
I did not know what this was going to be. You kept it a surprise. Nope. So
yeah, I did.
Let's give it to me.
All right, Bryan. Who leads the Cleveland Guardians in home runs with 7?
Kyle Manzardo.
That is correct. That's your boy. That's why I had to toss you softball. If you didn't know that one. Can
we pause and talk about Kyle for a moment?
Kyle, yes, let's please do. Kyle Manzardo.
So let's pause here because I want to bring up something. Have you been to a home game yet? Have you been down to Progressive Field? So Progressive Field scoreboard has replaced on the lineup order average with OPS.
Yes, okay? I love that.
They are no longer showing average, they are showing OPS. And Kyle Manzardo is the perfect example of why OPS is a much better metric of success and of how good a hitter is hitting. His batting average.
Bryan, hold on. Can you tell me what his OPS is?
It's over 900. I don't know what it is.
It is exactly. 901. 901 for Kyle Manzardo.
And he leads the team in OPS.
Yeah, barely.
So I don't know if that was going to be. I don't know if that was going to be a question, but he leads the team in OPS, leads the team in home runs. His batting average is, like, would you say 212? But he's clearly been one of the best hitters on the team so far this season. And for those who don't know, I assume most of our listeners do, but OPS is on base percentage plus your slugging percentage. So that's how you get your OPS, on base plus slugging is the abbreviation. And it takes into account the slugging percentage, so you get more points for doubles, triples, and home runs. And then it takes into account the on base percentage, which if you're walking a bunch, you're not getting credit for that in your batting average. I just think it's an overall better metric, and I do like that they're showing it on the scoreboard. And on top of that, I think that you know, it's just an overall better metric and shows you that Kyle Manzardo is hitting really, really well. And even though he has a low batting average, like that just doesn't matter right now. And there were people like on Twitter crushing Manzardo, like, oh, he's got a low batting average. Like that's such an outdated, it's an outdated metric to measure a player's success right now. All right, so what do we got next? We did home runs. I went on my Cal Manzardo rant. Which one we got next, Mike?
Who is the current batting average leader of your Cleveland Guardians?
So there's an obvious choice, but I feel like that could be a trick question. I'm just gonna guess Stephen Kwan just to say Stephen Kwan.
That is correct. Bonus points if you could tell me his batting average.
370.
No, 337. You were close. 337. In second place, Gabriel Arias at 270.
Okay. So
we're gonna talk about him too at some point.
This is a nice another transition. Mr. Stephen Kwan has changed to a torpedo bat. And the reason I said 370 is that might have been the stat that he has. He might be hitting 370 since he switched to the torpedo bat or something close to that. But he did it at the end of the Pirates series, I believe, and has hit a couple of home runs. So
I would like to shout out Stephen Kwan for doing the gender reveal for
very cool.
David Large Fry and his wife. That was really, really cool. I loved watching that and seeing them take a moment throwing on the pink wristband. So congratulations to the Fries. That'll be a small fry is on the way, and it's a girl. So the hits just keep on coming for him with the last name of Fry. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Those were really good.
They were. All right. Brian, who is the current hits leader for your Cleveland Guardians?
So it's got to be Stephen Kwan.
It is not Jose Ramirez. Correct. It is Stephen Kwan. He leads the team with 32. 32.
Yeah, because I don't think he's missed any time. So if he's got the highest batting average, he's got to have the most hits.
All right. We're going to move to pitching here in just a second. Let's see. Where can I stump Mr. Shaw? Got it. Who is our stolen base leader so far in the 2025 campaign? Leader. There is a tie. So you have two chances here.
I'm going to guess Jose is up there.
Ding, ding, ding. Correct. Who is he tied with?
This is a shot in the dark. Is it Nolan Jones?
It is not. It is Stephen Kwan.
Okay.
Kwan is many? Like our statistical 4.
4. How many does Nolan Jones have?
Nolan Jones has 2.
Oh, okay. And his were
and he got him the other night when he stole second and third on a pass ball. Anyway, all right, on to pitching. Brian, who is our ERA leader?
Does this include relievers?
This is the starters. No, starters only. Starters only.
Okay, because if it was relievers, it's Jacob Junis. He hasn't given. I don't think he's given up an earned run yet.
I think that would be correct.
I'll check you here in a second. Starters is Ben Lively.
It is 3.86. Our opening day starter,
Mr.
Gavin
Ben
Williams
Lively,
second.
Went toe to toe with Paul Skeens on Paul Skeens bobblehead day, and
Kyle Manzardo still deposited one in the Allegheny River that somebody had to fish out. So
my favorite thing that I saw on Twitter, this is what Twitter is actually good for, is I saw somebody Photoshop Kyle Manzardo's face onto Paul Skeens' face with his arm around Livy Dunn, which was really, really good.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I love that. All right. Who is our current saves leader?
It's still going to be Class A.
It is, but he's got somebody nipping at his heels. We'll talk about Mr. Emmanuel Clase. He's struggling as our closer right now, and I think Brian has a very good reason why he was struggling.
Yeah.
But Cade Smith is the closer in waiting, and he's looked really good.
And it was impressive. Yes, it was.
All right, let's see. Oh, here we go. Who is our strikeouts leader?
Ooh.
This includes the entire staff.
Entire staff.
The leader has 31. 31 is the leader.
I have to guess, just because he had a 10 strikeout outing, that it's Luis Ortiz.
Man, I'm having a difficult time stumping you. That is correct. Gavin Williams in second place with 26. All right, let me see if I can get one here. Let me see. No, that's a gimme. All right, who has pitched in the most games this year for the Cleveland Guardians?
Ooh. Most games.
Yep. Most appearances, we'll put it that way.
Hunter Gaddis.
That is incorrect. Hunter Gaddis is third with 11. Paul Sewald is second with 12. And Cade Smith is the leader in the clubhouse with 13. Brian,
that was going to be my guess, but I pivoted and went to Gaddis because
that's what
I knew you were trying to get me.
When you go with Ross Geller and pivot, you lose.
Well, I knew you were trying to get me, so I didn't want to go with the obvious choice. I wanted to go with
sometimes.
Yeah.
So Brian is indeed smarter than a Guardian. So congratulations, sir. I think you only missed one, so that is fantastic. Brian, let's talk about these Guardians really quick. Obviously, some highlights. You have Quan. Jose's starting to figure out. Gabriel Arias, I think we need to talk about him. Playing second base, hitting 270, looking good doing it. And I think we should also talk about Angel Martinez. I know he was added to the roster when your favorite brother, Lane Thomas, decided to get hit on the wrist, and it's a bruise, and it obviously did not heal. The team put him on the 10-day injured list. And Martinez has looked really good. I think he has definitely played his way on to the team. I think that when Lane is ready to go, I think we're going to have a problem, because I think we're going to have to say goodbye to somebody.
Well,
you want to guess who I'm thinking that will be?
I
think we may have to DFA somebody.
DFA.
And I don't think it's going to be a very popular decision. But
I don't think they would make that decision. They could option John Kenzie Noel. They can option Schneeman. They could option a bunch of guys. I think they would do that before. They could option Rocchio. I think they would do all of that.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll. But I will say Will Wilson is here. He got to start yesterday at third base. I think we will see him play again tomorrow night against Boston. I think they're going to try to see what they have with him. I think, though, it is time that we start to worry about Nolan Jones and Carlos Santana.
Okay.
I'm going
to very, very, very much disagree with that.
Which is fine. I want you to disagree with me. I don't understand, though. Santana's hitting 204.
Okay.
Nolan Jones is, let me see, where'd Nolan go? Nolan is hitting 227.
Didn't we just have a conversation at the beginning of this podcast about how batting average doesn't matter anymore?
It doesn't, but I honestly I think Nolan, I just don't understand. He has like a game where looks like he's locked in, and then he's got like 5 in a row where it looks like he's completely lost.
Okay. I'm going to give you 3 things why Nolan Jones will be okay. All right.
Okay.
One of them I don't have handy. I can look later. So you're familiar with expected batting average, correct?
Correct.
And so basically with StatCast, based on a ball's hit profile, how hard it's hit, the launch angle, those kinds of things, there's an expected if it will be a hit, if it will be an out. It's kind of a bell curve. The harder you hit the ball, the more likely it is to be a hit. And then actually on the other end, if you hit little dribblers, those also end up being hits because nobody can get to them. So it's twofold in that. But the last time I looked, Nolan Jones had about a 50 point difference in his batting average and his expected batting average, meaning he is unlucky so far. There's another metric that says that where his batting average on balls in play, meaning the average that he has right now when he hits the ball, is 270, and his average for the league is about 300. His worst ever in a season was about 333. So that is another indicator that he should be things will turn around a little bit. It's what do they say? It's the process, not the results.
It's also still April and the season is early.
Yeah. So
but we're getting a log jam. Because what are we doing with John Kenzie? He doesn't play every day. You have Angel Martinez, who's playing really well. Lane Thomas is going to come back from injury. Obviously, Kwan's not leaving left field.
So what do we do? Well, hang on. Let me finish my Nolan Jones statistics, and then I'll tell you where I think they would where they should go, and what might happen. Nolan Jones also leads the team in hard hit percentage, and so when you talk about you want players and guards ball and the bloops and all these things, you want a guy that's going to make hard contact. Nolan Jones hasn't put one over the fences yet, but I think that's coming. He leads the team in hard hit percentage. Also, his walk rate is pretty high as well. I don't have it handy. Let's see if I can find it real quick. But his walk rate is also up there. So I'm not worried about Nolan Jones yet. There are several metrics. Yes, they are not the traditional stats, but there's several things that say he will come around. Carlos Santana is a notoriously slow starter. He is giving you quality at bats. Whether they're coming up with results are to be seen. He almost hit one out of the park yesterday in what would have been an irrelevant home run, but it went right up to the wall. So I'm not worried about Santana either. In fact, he on the broadcast, I think it was yesterday or the day before, he even said to Andre he feels like he's having a pretty good April compared to most of his Aprils. So he will come around. Where I think this team will go, with Lane Thomas returning, if Angel Martinez is still playing the way he has been playing in this logjam of right field, Lane Thomas can play just versus lefties if that ends up being the case, and platoon with Nolan Jones, who goes against righties. That means that John Kenzie Noel is the odd man out there and can be optioned to AAA. And he has been hitting the ball hard, but he doesn't have his first home run yet either. He looks like he's been struggling. He's been hitting everything into the ground, hasn't really been getting the ball up in the air. So we wanted to see less swing and miss out of him and better at bats, and it looks like he is doing that a little bit, but he's not putting the ball up in the air. So maybe he needs a reset. I think they would go that route before they would DFA Nolan Jones. I don't think that they would do that.
No, the DFA was meant for Carlos Santana because I would love to see Manzardo playing every day, playing at first base. I want to see what the kid's got. I trust me, I love Carlos Santana. He's 39 years old now. And the reason I said it is because I wanted to see your reaction when we look at the stats that Josh Naylor has.
Yeah,
because we Naylor's hitting the cover off the ball. Look, and I love that people are like, "Oh my, this is why we'll never win a World Series." The Guardians, blah blah blah, traded Naylor, and when you look at Naylor and Santana's stats, you could where it goes. Talk to me in October or September, and let's look at stats then.
But I don't. That's what I'll tell you. I'm not interested in doing that. I mean, I was an advocate for not trading Josh. You know that I had said that, but I also wasn't that bummed about Jimenez. And look at how much better Gabriel Arias is doing than Jimenez right now, especially after Jimenez had 3 home runs in the first week. This is one why you don't make decisions on players in a week's time. Yes, you're going to have real hot weeks, real cold weeks. And this is also why you don't bury a baseball team before they have a home game when they were 3-6. They are 14. Yeah. Hang on. They are 11-4 since then. 11-4 since they had their home opener. And
we know that as Cleveland fans, a lot of people love to jump the ship really early. They do. The boat took on a little bit of water with that rough start. We took on a buzzsaw in San Diego with the Padres. But then what did we do when we came back home? We beat the Royals.
The White Sox. You beat the Royals in a series.
Yep.
You swept the Pirates. You took a series against the Yankees.
Yeah, and we get Boston this weekend. So I'm again, I agree with you 100%. I don't understand why people want to bury a team in April. I get last year we jumped out to a huge start and had a phenomenal start last year. It'll be okay, guys. It's April 24th. We'll get there.
As of this time yesterday, before the Yankees game ended, they were atop the American League. So they didn't win the series against the Yankees.
We do have the number one. We do have the number one wild card position.
Yeah, because they're
just thought I'd throw that out there.
They're half game back right now. I mean, we don't need to talk about playoffs, but so on the other hand, it had gotten up to, everybody wanted to talk about the offense and how the offense was terrible. Right now, there are 7 players with an above 700 OPS, which 700 is about average. So there's 7 players with an above 700 OPS, and the team WRC Plus is at 14th right now. I think I had texted you 2 days ago that they were tied 13th with the LA Dodgers. I think the LA Dodgers have a good offense, don't they?
How are the Dodgers doing right now? Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Struggling?
I haven't. They're not in first place. No, they're not.
Because the Padres are playing out of their minds right
now. Let's see. The Dodgers are currently 16-9. They're only a game out. So the Dodgers are still there.
Mike, do you think the New York Mets have a good offense?
No. It's the Mets. They have Juan Soto, and Soto's struggling. So
okay, they have Juan Soto, Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, right?
Francisco's turning it on.
Okay, but
let's see.
But hang on. Do you think the Mets have a good offense?
Yes, I would say they do. They have a good offense.
Well, the Guardians currently have a better WRC plus than they do.
That's awesome.
Do you think the Phillies have a good offense?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
They're only 1 point lower than the Phillies.
Wow. And the Phillies are only 1 game above 500.
So I mean, as of, I think, before yesterday's game, they were a top 10 team in WRC plus, and they've fallen to 14 because they had a little bit of a struggle of a game yesterday. But speaking of yesterday, there's another player I want to point out that people buried very early in the season. And, speaking of trades and things, we brought in Luis Ortiz from the trade of Andrés Giménez, and he struggled in spring training. He struggled in his first outing against the Padres. Some of that was some defensive miscues and some bad luck and here and there. But then he followed that up with a 6-inning, 3 earned run outing against Kansas City, goes 5 2/3, only gives up 1 run. Against Pittsburgh, he goes 5 innings, gives up 2 earned runs. And then, so has 2 really good outings in a row, and then struggles yesterday a little bit against the Yankees, mainly early. He did settle in, went 4 1/3.
How many walks did he finish with yesterday?
5 walks. So his command wasn't there.
His command wasn't there, and I think that has been Luis's Achilles heel, is that his control. He either has it or he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And fairly early if he's going to have it or not. There were some very questionable calls as well
Oh yeah, it was an
yesterday.
ugly game.
A few down just down the pipe and called balls. Like again, can we? I'm gonna tap my helmet. Can we get the replay system going here? Because I think the baseball desperately needs this. I am so sick and tired of watching games and watching how different the strike zone is from one game to the next.
Mm-hmm.
This is why these hitters can't dial in, because they've got to chase stuff that's on their shoe tops because one ump will call it a strike, or they've got to swing above their head because another ump will call that a strike.
Or even
Can we?
consistency in a game. Like we don't even
Yeah,
see that. I can understand that some of the purists want to say, well, this is the ump's strike zone and you got to figure that out. And he's calling this one a strike and he's calling this one a ball. But we don't even see that on a consistent basis um, from an umpire
right.
as much as you would like to. But my point is that yeah, maybe Ortiz is going to have a little bit of an up and down, but with those 3 games in a row where he went let's see, 11, 16 innings pitched and gave up 6 earned runs and had a total of 21 strikeouts in that 3 game stretch. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah,
And that's what you were looking for out of him. And, maybe it's going to take some time. Given also, yesterday was against the Yankees. The Yankees have the number 1 offense in the league right now. Aaron Judge is hitting freaking 500. Um,
415. 415 for Aaron Judge. All rise.
like just insane.
Yeah,
So I mean, to allow him to settle back in, like that game didn't get completely away. Unfortunately, the Guardians' offense got stymied yesterday and against Rodon, and
and he always pitches his stuff.
he does.
So
And so a 5-run game when it was 5-1, excuse me, a 4-run game felt a little bit more out of reach than it normally would. But you already took the series. They had started a call up Will Wilson. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was our strongest lineup that was in there. Manzardo got the day off yesterday, so be it. You didn't win yesterday, but you have the opportunity to take on the Red Sox here, and then you have a long series against the Twins, and you have an opportunity. They're struggling. I think you can. The old adage is you can't win a division in April, but you can lose one, and you have an opportunity to bury the Twins hard if you could
they're
take at least
struggling.
3.
Yeah, we can. And before I know we're getting close on time here. I want to make sure that we bid farewell to Tristan McKenzie, who was designated for assignment. We kind of knew this was coming, guys. He is a shell of his former self. I'm hoping that he passes through waivers and we can stick him down in AAA and he can figure it out. But he could be a guy that could really take a change of scenery, and maybe that helps him. I think there's some pitching needy teams that may take a look at him. We're not really going to get much for him, but what could have been Sticks will always be one of my favorites. But this kind of stuff happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, they really weren't left with a choice given the bullpen's situation. With Cantillo, like you saw that with the last Class A outing, and then you brought in Cantillo in extra innings. Like Class A pitched 3 games in a row. You really didn't want that, but who else were you going to go to in that closed
Mm-hmm.
situation? Because Cade had pitched a bunch. You had mentioned Cade's leading the team in appearances. So they needed another bullpen arm. And unfortunately, the last time we did see Tristan, it was a complete blow up. He was all over the place. Could not command any of his breaking stuff, and it isn't really unfortunate to see. I really hope he sticks around. I don't want to see him to go to another team because I want to see him figure it out, and I want to see him come back. I mean, we saw
Still
some
young.
dominant performances from him, and we know
Yeah,
he could
he's
be
still
really
young.
good.
We'll see what happens. I mean, the Guardians. I mean, I will say this: Joey Cantillo and in the bullpen has looked really good. He he reminds me a lot of what they did to Sam Henches when Henches was a starter. They turned him into that bullpen guy, and he has flourished. He's
Yeah, he
figured
was
it out.
dominant until he got injured.
So we'll see. I mean, it's sad for Tristan, but it's a business decision, and it's nothing personal. And again, I agree with you. I hope he passes through waivers, and I think today or tomorrow is when we'll
they have
know
7
his
days
fate.
usually, I believe.
When did we DFA'd him
It was just
on
a couple of days ago.
Tuesday? I think it was
Yeah.
Tuesday.
So it won't be until next
So
week. I think we find out.
or Monday. It was
Somebody
Monday.
picks him up
It was Monday.
unless somebody picks him up on waivers, then we
Yeah.
would find that sooner. But who knows? But speaking of business decisions, you had tweeted this out. You had asked me, does the team make a business decision and move Clase out of the closer role and put
Yeah.
in Kate Smith?
I do. I think that it needs to happen until Clase shows you that he is the dominant guy he once was. I think the weather has something to do with it. I think pitching 3 days in a row wasn't great for Clase, but he's showing signs of being human and not this Cy Young closer that we all thought he could be. Maybe it's just temporary. Maybe it's just for a series or two. Hey, we're gonna let Cade Smith see what he can do, and you can be our setup guy. And then if he does really well, hey, we'll flip you. That's the cool thing about having these interchangeable parts.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they talk to him about it if that's the role, the way they go. Cade Smith had 2 great performances against the Yankees. To
Threw 5 pitches
Yeah,
and
to
got a
shut them
save the other
down.
night. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Clase is just getting too much plate. His
Mm-hmm.
cutter is just seeing too much plate. He's not pitching inside to right-handed hitting. He's not jamming those hitters. So that's a big deal, and so that's allowing those hitters to get the bat out there and make good contact. Vogt mentioned that he's getting too much plate. He mentioned a little bit of luck in there. There was that ball that went off of his leg, and that ended up being a hit. So there's those other things. Then I think it was yesterday they mentioned that he has some shoulder soreness.
Oh no.
So but they said
Yeah.
that he felt that after the last Pittsburgh game. Well, he went 30 pitches,
Yeah.
and pitched 3 days in a row. And it really doesn't matter. Like if the 2 previous games, I know he didn't have a lot of pitches. It was like maybe 6 pitches, and then there was only 1 batter in the other game. But there was still warm up. You still are
Mm-hmm.
warming up in those games. So I hope it's nothing serious. I hope that this just gives them an opportunity to give them a little bit of rest. But then, because of all this shuffling of the bullpen, I think we got to give a shout out to Zach Kent, who had a pretty nice performance in his debut.
Yeah, he did. Looked really good. I think he'll stick around for a bit. They're going to have some more roster moves coming, I think, soon enough. Hopefully our bullpen doesn't get taxed and our starters continue to increase their innings pitched from 5 to 6, and then maybe we flirt with 7 a little bit. But when you have pitchers like Gaddis and Jacob Junis and Cantillo and Cade Smith and Paul Sewald, the pressure isn't on the starters as much as it was last year. We've got a pretty good bullpen, and I think we can rely on them a little bit.
And the starters have been going longer. You had that really nice outing by Big Rig,
Gavin Williams.
Gavin Williams.
You had Logan Allen, who looked good. I mean, they're starting to creep into that 6 inning mark, which is great. That's what you want. Get 6 innings, and then you turn it over to your bullpen.
Yeah, it is starting to get there. You've had some really promising performances, especially from Bybee, who had a couple of not so great outings, to see him kind of recover. And the other thing that was nice, I think, with both Bybee and Gavin, they had a little bit of a struggle early, and then you saw them cruise later. So they didn't let any incidents compound, especially the Bybee outing, because he gave up a home run on the first pitch and didn't let that spiral and got control from there on out. So, Mike,
well,
we are almost done. Where can people find you?
On Facebook and Twitter at Mike Vorhies, Bryan Shaw. Where can they find us? And you?
I'm at WXSHAW. You can find us on Spotify and on YouTube, MLB Guardcast. Come check us out. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks. Hopefully they keep running this hot streak.
Let's do it.